Hello YouTube, Big Terry here with Golden Oaks Quail Hatchery, and today we are starting a new cycle of hatching eggs. So stay tuned. Now when breeding quail, you occasionally have to refresh your lines in order to prevent the problems that can come along with interbreeding. And to that end, we've partnered with Jay McGraw and Madison's Quail Farm in order to trade eggs between us and in order to refresh our lines. So I want to give a special shout out to Jay McGraw and Madison's Quail Farm for supplying 24 of the 38 eggs that we are going to be incubating here in our second cycle. The rest of them came from my own hens. But 24 of these are from an outside source from Jay McGraw and Madison's Quail Farm. And we are hatching them in order to mix and match our lines with new outside lines to prevent interbreeding. So that is the way things are gonna go. Today is day one of our new breeding cycle. And we learned a lot from our first breeding cycle that we just finished. We had a very successful hatch rate. I believe 84% of the total eggs that were fertile actually hatched. So that is very great. And hopefully we're going to do even better this time around. We learned a lot with that last hatch. We did have a couple of defects that we ended up having to humanely cull because they were not going to survive on their own. So we had two of those that we had to cull. We had a third one that was also born with splayed legs, but actually recovered. We had two birds that had splayed legs, but only one of them recovered. The other one had to be humanely culled. And the other culling had to do with the deformity of the neck, and the chick was not able to basically eat or drink because of that deformity. So he was humanely culled as well. But the rest are happily growing and jumping around, frolicking, playing. I'm trying to handle them as much as possible because I want them to be used to me and not as flighty as my first set of birds that were not raised by me. So I'm trying to get them used to me. They actually like to be held, the chicks, but they're very playful and very fast. They're very speedy when they're small. So they're a little hard to catch when you're trying to. But yeah, so we're in day one of a new cycle, and we have 38 eggs here, 24 of which came from the outside source, Jay McGraw. And we're going to be, once these hatch, we're going to mix and match our first cycle with this cycle so that there's no interbreeding. And hopefully in this cycle, this batch of eggs, we have some different colors. Jay said that he has some different color varieties, and some of these eggs may be from those different color varieties. So hopefully we'll have some pretty birds come out of this second cycle, but we'll see how things go. So this is day one. We'll be back on day 15 as we did in the first cycle to candle and see how many have developed. And then we will go into lockdown until hatching day. And this time we're going to wait a bit longer before removing any of the birds, because I believe that part of the problems we had with the defects was that we opened the incubator a little too early, and some of the ones that may have pipped may have become shrink wrapped and didn't hatch. So I think we're gonna wait a little longer. In terms of shrink wrapping, what that is like whenever the chicks have pipped the egg or put a hole in the egg in order to start hatching, and they're exposed to different temperature or cold air rushes in. For example, when we're removing the cover of the incubator to take out the chicks that hatch, the membrane that surrounds the chick actually tightens and shrink wraps the chick in the egg so that they can no longer hatch. And I believe 3 of the ones that we had in the first cycle that actually happened to when we removed the chicks that were dry from the incubator. So we're gonna wait a bit longer this time. We're gonna wait 48 to 72 hours before we remove any eggs once they have started hatching, and hopefully we will prevent any shrink wrapping this time around. But that'll be all for now, guys. We will check back with you on day 15 and see how many have developed and prepare for lockdown. Hope you're enjoying this series. If you are, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe and hit that notification bell. It's free and doesn't cost you anything, but it helps the channel a great deal to get this out in front of more people. So we'll be back, guys. Stay tuned. Exciting times at Golden Oaks Quail Hatchery. Hello YouTube, Big Terry here with Golden Oaks Quail Hatchery, and it's been 1 week since our Cycle 1 hatchlings were born, so let's take a look at how they are progressing. Stay tuned. So let's take a look under the hood of our homemade brooder and see what we got going on. Hey there, little ones. So as you can see, they are starting to get their first feathers, and they have actually doubled in size in just 1 week. They are doing very well. Now, we did discover that one of them had passed away for unknown reasons, so he was removed. So I guess that leaves us back with 20, which is still a good number. Now, these little guys have about 2 more weeks left in this brooder, and then they will be moving outside with their parents to their grow out pens, which we still have to build. I've decided that rather than spend exorbitant amounts of money on pre-built grow out pens and cages, I am going to make an attempt to build my own. Now, with that being said, I am no carpenter. So this will be my first time ever building anything. So I may have bitten off more than I can chew, but we are going to make an attempt anyway. So let's take a closer look at one of these guys. I believe that this one here is a jumbo Coturnix quail chick. And as you can see, their feathers are coming in quite lovely. They are eternally cute and very docile birds. And they've got some hops already. So it'll be probably 1 more week before they're able to literally take flight and jump out of this brooder whenever I open it. Now, I believe that I have 2 blonde chicks here, and they're the fastest ones. I think I showed you guys that in the last clip. But I think that they may be celadons. I could be wrong. If you guys know, please let me know in the comments below. But I really won't know for sure until they are adults, and if there is a female among those 2, if they start laying blue eggs, then I know that it will be confirmed that I have at least 1 celadon chick in this group. Now, we are incubating our 2nd cycle of chicks currently, and they will be ready to go into this brooder once these chicks actually come out. So we've got roughly 2 weeks to get our grow out pen built. Now, I do have a loosely drawn schematic of what the grow out pens are going to be and look like, and have an idea of how I want to build them. I am taking some inspiration from the Slightly Redneck channel and Terry from Coturnix Corner to build my grow out pens. And if I'm successful at building those grow out pens, then I will probably also in the next few weeks start making some breeder pens, because we are going to be breeding these chicks with the 2nd cycle chicks that actually came from an outside source from Jay and his quail farm. And I want to thank him again for trading with me. We're going to be occasionally trading hatching eggs between our two farms in order to prevent interbreeding and keep our genetic lines as pure as possible and healthy. So the second cycle of chicks are totally independent of these chicks, as well as the adults that are outside. So once these chicks reach maturity, we will be separating the males from the females and integrating them with our second cycle chicks to start a new group of breeding hatchlings. So once again, these guys are for sale. Their price has gone up to $4, and now that they are a week old, and will continue to grow up $1 each week as they get older until they reach adulthood and sexual maturity and start laying eggs. I believe the laying hens will be priced at $12 each. Males will be $8. That's for standard size. The jumbo sizes may be a little bit more. I think I might do $10 for the jumbos, those that are actually qualify as jumbo weighted quail. We're going to be weighing them individually over the next few weeks, and based on Terry from Koternik's Corner, we will be categorizing our flock either as standards or jumbos, and qualifying those. And the jumbos are going to be the ones that we are going to make breeders, because we want to grow big fat quails that will produce a lot of meat and lots of large eggs. So we're going to take the biggest of the biggest and breed those. So I'm going to be right back. I want to show you guys the plan I have for our grow out pens, and hopefully we will get started on actually building them. Aren't you guys cute? We'll be right back. Okay guys, so here is our plan for our quail grow out cages. Now, the cages are going to be built around two of these poop trays, which are actually oil drain pans that I got from AutoZone. They are both 36 inches long by 25 inches wide. So we're gonna have two of those. And then on the bottom of the cage setup, we're gonna have two 27-gallon totes as compost bins that weigh, that measure 30.5 inches long by 20.5 inches wide, and about 15 inches tall, I believe. So we're gonna have possibly 2 to 3 layers of actual cages that we're gonna build. So in total, we're gonna have 6 foot of length for just the poop trays, and that will also be sufficient enough to cover both of the compost bins, which are about 5 feet 1 inches combined. Yes, they're 15 inches tall. I was correct. I did make a note of that. Now for our flooring, we are going to be building a frame that has PVC coated hardware cloth on the flooring. I know that you guys have seen me use regular hardware cloth to reinforce my dog cages that I turned into temporary housing. But for our grow up pens, we're actually going to put PVC coated hardware cloth on the flooring to protect our quail's delicate feet. We do not want them getting bumblefoot, which is when they get cut and sores on their feet from constantly walking on steel wire. So with the PVC coated wire, that's going to give them some protection. So basically, this is a schematic of the flooring that we're going to do for each level. So each level is going to be 96 inches long by 25 inches on the side, the shorter side. And we're primarily going to be constructing our cages with 2x2 furring strips that are relatively cheap. I think they're like $5 a piece for an 8-foot length from Lowe's that I get. And please, I also think I get a little bit cheaper because I get a military discount for those. But that's our primary building material that we're going to use to build our grow out pens. Now on the next page here, I have a loose design of what our construction is going to look like. So starting from the bottom, we're going to have a total of 8 foot 3 inches in length. That's a 1 8-foot long piece of furring strip. And then we're going to have 1.5 inch cross beams on both ends. That gives us the 3 inches on both sides here. Here is going to be our 2 compost bins, and that are 15 inches tall. We're going to leave an additional 6-inch gap for us to dump more of the poop and to be composted in these bins. And then we are going to start our first layer of cages. Now I may be building these with removable divider walls, so I can either have 1 large cage or 2 smaller cages on each level in case I want to convert this setup into individual breeder pens. So we can have either 3 large like I said, sections, or we can have 6 smaller sections as breeder pens. And here where the hash marks are, that is an indication of where we're going to have hardware cloth. So we're going to be at least 2 access doors to access the main portions of the cage. And on each side here, I'm also going to have what we'll have some sand boxes here so that the quail can sandbathe. So we're going to have 1 on each side of the cage, so a total of 6. Now we're not going to have all of them filled. We're just going to use 1 cage to start with our first cycle chicks. And this could be a 2-level cage, but I also planned it out to possibly be a 3rd level. We're just going to see how tall it is going to be. Now I may also, depending on how I build this, I may also include a piece of plywood flooring, but I'm not sure I'm going to do that because I am going to be drilling holes in the bottom of our compost bin for drainage. And so like some of the decomposting insects and worms can get in from the bottom. So I may just leave it open and have these on the ground so that they can be accessed by our detritivores and things that break down poop and whatnot. But I'm also considering possibly adding some heavy duty casters so I can move this around after it's built, depending on the weather conditions. It's probably going to be covered under the portion of my carport that is covered, but in the cooler months, I may actually move it into my garage or behind the carport. So I may have add some heavy duty casters to the 4 corners. But yeah, this is our basic plan for our grow out pen. And so we're going to get started on the construction. And like I said, I am a novice. I have never used power tools before. I'm just starting to get used to them. And I've actually purchased some additional tools to hopefully help us make this process a little easier. So let's take a look at those and get started on this build. Stay tuned. So here's one of the poop trays that we'll be using. These are those oil drip pan trays that you can get from like AutoZone or O'Reilly's or anything like that. And I believe I spent like $15 for these. So I've got 2 of them here. As you can see, this one has just been cleaned because I'm in the process of cleaning and sanitizing each of the cages. There's the second drip pan tray that we're going to be using, and that is what we are going to base the entire quail cage build around. As you can see, these are the Sure Built brand, but I think there are many companies that make these specific drip pan trays, oil drip pan trays. And this is the basic material that we will be using, the 2x2 furring strips. These are each 8 feet long, and we're going to base our use this as our primary tool for building the cage. Now, we just got the PVC coated hardware cloth in from Amazon. So let me show you guys the difference of what that looks like compared to our standard hardware cloth. So here we have our standard hardware cloth. You can see the metal, the bare metal there. And this here is PVC coated hardware cloth. It may be very hard to tell the difference, but this is actually a coated hardware. And this is what we're going to be using for the flooring of each level of our quail cage. I got this directly from Amazon because for some reason Lowe's does not carry this in stock in the local stores. So once again, Amazon to the rescue. This is not sponsored, but I'll put a link in the description. Now this roll measures supposed to be 24 inches by 50 feet. So hopefully we have enough here to do all levels of our quail pen, but we will see. And this shipper actually sent a pair of gloves with this specific a roll of hardware cloth, which was a nice little addition, but not something that we need. I already got work gloves. But let me show you guys some of the other tools that we recently got to help us with our construction. Now, when I say I'm a novice to woodworking, power tools, that whole shebang, I truly mean it. This was what I thought an old drill that I had from Milwaukee brand. I've had this for a number of years, and apparently I didn't know there was a difference between like a drill and a driver. I thought a drill was a drill was a drill, but no. Apparently there's a big difference between an impact and a drill. So I guess they told me that this was an impact, not a drill. So I had to go and get something to help me that actually fit drill size bits because I bought a hole saw that I thought would fit in this, and it doesn't. And then I found out, oh no, this is an impact. You need a drill. So we got here is the Dremel blueprint. I've recently discovered some of Dremel's products. The first one I purchased was that rotary tool. And now what we have here is the multi-drill. And also this, again, is not sponsored, but it's supposed to be like a drill and driver all in one. So, and it also comes with a laser level, which I thought was pretty cool. This is a 12-volt drill driver Dremel multi-drill from the Blueprint line. And yeah, this is one of the new tools that we got to help us hopefully build our quail cage with. So I thought this was really cool. And you see it has a drill setting, and then I guess these are like the different driver screw settings. And it's got the two-way directional change, as well as a light here on the front. And down here is where the battery goes, and also where you store the laser level, which is right in this box. See if I can do this with one hand. Yeah. So here we have an automatic laser level. So you got the bubbles there, and then the laser comes out of the side. So you basically stick this on a wall with like silly putty, which it has some included in the box, and it'll give you a level line that you can use to hang stuff or do whatever you need to do with a level. But there's one other tool that we got from Dremel that hopefully will really make this job a lot easier. And let's show you that tool right now. So this here is a Dremel portable saw station, if you can believe that, in a briefcase, also from the Blueprint line. And we also picked this up from Lowe's because we needed another saw, because I have a reciprocating saw, but that's pretty much the only saw I have. And this is actually just a handsaw in a box, a portable workstation. And this, I thought this was so cool because here it comes with a little handsaw, right? That you could use basically as a handsaw, but it also works as a table saw as well. You can open up the sides of the station here, and here has a rail for you to run the handsaw across. Just like that, so you can cut wood. It also has a miter stay set for angled cuts, so you can do angle cuts on this as well. Here we have some additional accessories. We have a 2x4 cutter that helps you cut 2x4s because it's such a small blade, so you actually have to flip it over to cut. Here is a dust collection port that you can so you can attach it to a dust collector to remove to collect some of that sawdust. Here we have a couple of grips to tack down our wood to the rail. Excuse me, the rails here. I keep slamming this thing. Sorry about that. And here we have one of those like horses where you can set up to when you have a long piece of wood, if that's hanging off. This actually opens up here. And then you can set up this saw horses on the side, just like that. So if you have a piece of wood that hangs off the edge, you can just rest it on here. It's actually designed to be the same level as the saw station. But I thought this was so cool. And in this section here, we have a little place where you can write down like your measurements and things like that. It's not dry erase, so it's regular pencil and eraser. But yeah, so we got this to hopefully cut down our wood. Now, I'm not sure if our 2x2s will actually fit under here. We will see. But if not, we will just use this as a handsaw and cut the 2x2s just like that. So we are going to get ourselves situated and set up, and we are going to start this build. So stay tuned. We are going to get our woodworking on. Okay, so we have our first floor framed out and put together. And man, this is quite a learning experience. I finally found out what an expression measure twice, cut once means, because man, I had a couple of accurate cuts on my first few pieces of wood. But it overcame it, and now we have one of the first floors that we are framed out for our Quail cage. So lengthwise, it measures 8 feet 4 inches. Each end is roughly 25 inches. And in each middle cross member here that we have measures roughly 22 inches. So that is going to be basically the border of our Quail cage. Now I have to do 2 more floors like this to make it a 3-layer tier, and then we can start framing out the roof and the height adjustments. But I got to get a lot more furring strips because I only have 2 left, and that is not going to be enough. So I got to make some more money this week so I can buy some more wood. But for today, what we're going to do is we're going to top this first floor with the PVC coated hardware cloth, and we're going to get it tacked down. For that, we are using just a handheld staple gun that I've purchased. I would like to get probably one of those air-powered ones, but for now, this is what I can afford. So this is what we're going to use to create our floor, and hopefully it should work out pretty good. So I'm going to get started on that, and I will be right back once that is done to show you guys what this first floor looks like. We'll be back. All right, guys, so we have our first floor completed, included with the PVC coated hardware cloth. And once again, we're using the PVC coated hardware cloth for the flooring so that it's easier on our quail's feet and they won't get cut up by the bare metal as they walk on it. And that way it will protect them from getting bumblefoot. And so that was the reason we're using the PVC coated hardware cloth. We're going to do that on each of the floors, and the rest of the cage will primarily be regular hardware cloth. So we got our first floor done. I measured out the exact amount of hardware cloth I needed, and I was able to cut off the excess using my angle grinder here, now that I actually got a cutting disc rather than the grinding disc I was trying to use before. See, once again, novice at power tools. But man, that worked a lot better than trying to individually snip each one of these ends here. And I was just able to cut through it like butter. So I am so glad that I'm found a way to do that, and I'm discovering how to use power tools, because man, they are helpful. So that is all we're gonna do for today. We are going to get some more wood this week, construct 2 more floors, and then we're gonna start building up the side walls to our quail cages and start laying everything out. So man, I hope you guys are enjoying this series. I hope it's not too boring. I wanted you guys to see how a novice constructs a quail cage so that anybody that wants to get into quail can do the same. It's not as hard as it may seem at first once you get to do it. That's like with anything, any new skill. It's hard to learn at first, but just by practice, trial and error, you get it down. So we'll be back shortly. It'll be roughly just a few seconds for you guys, but it'll probably be a week for me before we continue this build. So until then, stay tuned. We'll be right back. Good day, guys. Big Terry here, back with Golden Oaks Quail Hatchery. And it has been 2 full weeks since our Cycle 1 hatchlings have been hatched, and they have 1 more week left in this brooder before they join their parents out in the grow out pens, which we are steadily constructing and moving along. Now I want you guys to take a quick look at them so you can see how much they've grown, and pretty much they're almost pretty much fully feathered now, so they're really ready to go outside, but we're going to give them 1 more week just as a precaution. So now they are already quite flighty, capable of flight, and they will likely jump straight up out of here once I remove this cover. So bear with me. I might have to catch a few, but let's take a look at them. Hey guys, good morning. As you can see, they have grown quite a bit. We have some what look to be standard size as well as jumbo chicks available here. And they are just finishing up some of the mess that they've made with their food. We're actually about to clean and sanitize this brooder. We do a weekly cleaning of all the quail cages. But as you can see, they are quite lovely. There's one of my 2 blondes there in the middle. I'm calling my blondes that I think possibly could be a Celadon, but we are not quite sure yet. As I said in the last video, we gotta wait till there's my other blonde. We gotta wait until they're fully matured to see if they actually lay blue eggs. Now, we did have a couple that did pass away for unknown reasons. Apparently, quail in their first few weeks are very delicate, and when they're not trying to kill themselves, they can die for just pretty much any reason. They're just, some of them are maybe just too weak or have bad genetics. You know, we had a couple that were born defective, which we unfortunately had to cull. But other than that, these guys are doing quite well. So we are going to see in 1 more week actually how many of them actually make it out the brooder, and we'll be going out to the grow out pens. Since the the ones that have passed away, we have started to add electrolytes and vitamins to their water, which seems to have helped quite a bit. So that is probably a good tip for you guys, to give your quail chicks some supplements, at least for the first few weeks, to boost their immune system, and give them some supplemental vitamins, because that seems to have helped a lot. So let me see if I can grab one here. I'm surprised that they're not already trying to fly out of here right now, because usually when I open this, they're flying. So, well, there we go. Come here, little. Okay. So as you can see, they're pretty much fully feathered now. And they have such beautiful, beautiful feathers. And as you can see, they are quite docile when you hatch and raise them yourself. They actually don't mind being held and petted. And they're quite pretty birds. Eternally cute. But I try not to get too attached to this group, because these are purely being bred for eggs and meat. This is my first cycle of hatching. So for the ones that, whichever ones we don't sell, will go out to our grow out pens and be grown out for meat production and eggs. Very beautiful. So yes, I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on them. We're going to be finishing at least a portion of the grow out pen this week. Even if we don't get all of it done, at least we want to get one layer of the 3-layer tier that I'm planning to build finished and closed off, so that these guys can go into it. And then we'll have time between our second cycle hatchlings, which have about another week as well in the incubator before they start hatching. And they will go into this brooder as soon as these guys come out. So we'll be right back. We made some progress on our grow out pens, and we're going to take a look at that in just a moment. Stay tuned. Okay, we're back with our grow out pen build. So here we can see one of the two side pieces that we're going to have on the side. That'll be the vertical side. So we got either the left or the right. We have to make one more of these for the opposite side. But let me show you guys a quick breakdown. So here we have the bottom of the grow out pens, and in this section here is where we will have the compost bins. Then we will have the lower pen here, followed by the 2 poop trays that will go in this section here. And we have another grow out pen here, followed by another poop section tray here, and then our final pen will be right here on the top. So we are going to make this a 3-layer tier. And I believe the overall length of this will be roughly around 6 feet, 6 feet 3 inches or something like that. But yeah, I think we have enough room here to make this a 3-layer tier. So we're going to continue our construction. We're going to start framing this out. Now I may just finish this lower grow out pen here, since we currently only really need one section for the chicks that are about to go out into this pen in the next week. And then I will have time while our second hatchlings are incubating and brooding for the next 3 weeks to finish out the top 2 pens as well. And I am thinking, like I said, about creating dividers, removable dividers, in order to create possible breeder pens out of these grow out pens as well. So that way it'll be versatile, and I can use this for pretty much anything. And if this all goes well, I may build more of these, and in order to grow our population and grow our meat and egg production. So I hope you guys are enjoying this video. I hope it's educational. I'm certainly getting an education with power tools and woodworking, and this is actually kind of fun. So it's probably something I'm going to continue in the future. but hopefully not in the middle of the summer, because it is really hot out here right now here in Texas. And I can only basically work on these for a couple minutes before I get too hot and have to go back into the AC. So I may wait until the fall to continue building more of these, but we shall see. But let's continue with the build. Let's get this framed out, and let's get at least one of these compartments done this week so that we can move our hatchlings into it. So be right back. So in the process of framing out our quail grow out pen and uprighting it, one of the cross members snapped. So I don't want to have to redo this whole panel right now, which I may have to do it again later, but for right now, it's just too much work to do. So I put some wood glue there and held it with some clamps for now, and I will try to brace it from the bottom once I'm finished with the rest of the cage. But so far, other than that, things are going pretty good considering I'm doing this myself. It's a lot of work when you're by yourself and don't have an extra hand to help you, but it is coming together. So right now we're going to have the makings of our lower pen, and now we're going to start framing out the roof and get some hardware cloth around it. And then for this portion, we were just work on our doors and our dividers for our main section, as well as our sandboxes. And I think that'll be all for this week. We are going to continue next week with our grower pen, but for this week, I just have to get this bottom tier done for our hatchlings. So I will start framing that portion, and we will be back in just a moment. Man, this is a tough job. I have been trying to get this thing upright, to stand upright for some time, and it keeps falling over. Apparently, when you are by yourself and have no experience, man, it turns out that this is a lot harder than it looks to be. Professional woodworkers, I give it up to you. I mean, look at this. That thing's falling over. I've got split ends and all kinds of things. I got a snapped beam down here, and I'm just trying to shore this thing up so I don't have to start all over from the beginning. I have trying to do some bracing now with these corner pieces, but I really need a table saw or a miter saw, because the little saw that I have cannot cut through 1.5 inch wood, so it's making it very difficult. So yeah, that Dremel table saw in the box is a good idea, but for like smaller projects, really smaller projects, it's like more like a craft size drill. I need definitely either a table saw or a full size miter saw, and in the future reference. So that'll be the next item that I look to try and purchase. But I'm going to try to salvage the rest of this project, because I really do not have the time, ability, or money to start this over from scratch. So I'm just going to try and work with what we got. I'm going to try to shore up this thing as best I can and keep moving forward. So wish me luck. We'll see how it goes. So we're back, guys, and we have pretty much got our grow pen fully framed out. And as you can see, you can kind of get an idea of what we're going for here. Now, as you can see from the bottom, we have the two 27-gallon totes for the compost bins, and then the lower grow out pen, which is where our first cycle 1 hatchlings will go. And then above that, you can see the space for the poop pans for the next level cage. Now, as you can see right here, this will roughly be the size of our sandbox, maybe a little less. I'll have to see, but I'm thinking that this will be a good size sandbox for each side. And so we'll have one on this side and one on this side, and then the rest right here will be basically an open pen area. These two side pieces will be enclosed with some plywood. Once I get the hardware cloth installed, I'm gonna seal it up with plywood so that they have a closed off section in the wintertime that they can get out of the elements if they need to. So on both, they'll have one on both sides, and then over here will be a ventilated open area. So we're making quite a lot of progress. I'm pretty proud of what I was able to accomplish basically as a novice by myself with no help, basically just constructing this grow out pen off just a video tutorial. And I'm pretty proud of what I've accomplished so far. Now, I don't think I have enough regular hardware cloth to fully enclose this lower pen yet, but I'm going to try and use some of these scrap pieces I have to start framing out the doors at least. And I'll unfortunately have to spend more money this week to get another roll of hardware cloth to close out this bottom pen, as well as some pieces of plywood. Now, I think that right here where there's the cross beam is where I'm going to actually no, right here in the center is where we're going to put our dividers so that we can have this either as a full grow up pen, or we can separate this into two breeder pens. So yeah, we're going to put dividers right here in the middle with plywood as well, removable. I was able to get a router attachment for my Dremel, so hopefully I'll be able to route out this section here so we can have a piece of plywood that slides right in the middle. So we're making some progress. Things are really starting to come together. I was able to shore up the frame pretty much with these cross member holds, and that really tightened things up a little bit. And I was able to repair some of the damage from the broken beam here by just adding a little bit of like a splint there. I don't know what to call it, but yeah, just another piece to hold the two halves together. And I'll probably drill some more screws right down the middle at the top to secure it from the top as well. But yeah, things are really coming along. So we should have this grow out pen ready to go, at least the lower section, by the end of the week for our cycle 1 chicks. Just in time too, because we have the second cycle that have just a few more days left in the incubator, and they will be hatching. So this is a very exciting time for Golden Oaks Quail Hatchery. We are moving quite along, and the next time that we see you guys, we'll hopefully have this, at least the lower portion, constructed and ready to receive our cycle 1 hatchlings. So we'll be back in just a little while, which will be just a second for you, but it could be some time for us. That's the power of YouTube. We'll see you right in a minute. Okay, we're back, and it has been 15 days since our cycle 2 hatching eggs have started incubating, and today is a day that we need to candle and see how many are actually developing. Now, once again, as a reminder, the majority of these eggs, 24 to be exact, came from Jay McGraw and Madison's Quail Farm, which I have gratefully partnered with in order to occasionally swap hatching eggs and refresh our lines to prevent the problems that can come with too much inbreeding. So occasionally we will be swapping eggs in order to avoid those problems. And once again, I would like to send a special shout out and a thankful, grateful appreciation to Jay McGraw and Madison's Quail Farm. And hopefully we will be collaborating again very soon into the future. So today is a day that we have to candle our eggs and see how many are viable, and then prepare them for lockdown. Now, if you guys are not too familiar with the process of candling, you can watch my last video, which I go into great detail about it on the We Have Hatchlings video. So I'm not going to go through that again there. I pretty much went through that entire incubation process in the last video. So we are just going to skip ahead and get these eggs candled and prepared for lockdown. Now we with our first cycle hatchlings, we did have some problems with splayed legs. At least two of them, the chicks had splayed legs, and we eventually had to end up culling them. I tried to avoid this by using some blue shop towels on the base of the incubator, but this time we're going to try something a little bit different. And I'll show you what that is in just a moment. So this time around, I'm going to use one of those like bathroom shower mats that I've actually cut out to the approximate size of the incubator base. And hopefully this will get more traction to the chicks than the blue shop towels did. So I'm hoping that with this improvement, we can really prevent any chicks from getting splayed legs that are hatched. So we're going to give this a try and see if it works out better this time. Now, let's get these eggs candled and put into lockdown and increase our humidity, because in roughly 2 to 3 more days, they will start hatching. They incubate for about 15 days, and then between days 18 to 21, usually they start hatching, but I've had eggs start hatching as soon as day 17. So we're gonna get these guys ready just in case they decide to come early as they did last time. So we'll be right back. So we got a bit of a little disappointing numbers here this time around, guys. Out of the 38 eggs that we set, only 16 of them appear to have developed or showed signs of development, which is not good. The rest were either not fertilized or just did not develop for any reason. Like I said, 24 of the 38 came from J. McGraw in our trade. So I'm not sure exactly what happened there. Maybe they were just not fertilized, or like I said, they just did not develop for whatever reason. But it happens sometimes. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But we do have 16 here that have showed signs of development and will go into lockdown. So basically, since 16 eggs showed signs of development out of 38, that gives us roughly a 42% developed ratio based on what we set. And now our hatch rate again will be based on these eggs, the 16 that we are putting into lockdown. So based on how many actually hatch over the next few days, out of these 16 will determine our hatch rate for cycle 2. So hopefully all, if not most of these eggs will hatch and make it through to the brooder, which should be emptied out in 1 more week once we finish that grow out pen and move the current chicks in the brooder into it. And then these guys will be going in there to start brooding and growing as well. So we are going to get these put into lockdown, and we will check back with you guys once they start hatching. In the meantime, we are going to continue our grow out pen build. See you soon. So we're back, guys, at our cycle 1 chick brooder, and we're going to take a look and see how the chicks are doing. They're about 2 weeks old, and they're pretty much fully feathered. In 1 more week, they'll be ready to go into the grow out pen, which we're almost finished constructing the lower tier, which was where they will be housed. And once that is done, we can continue hopefully with our cycle 2 hatchlings that'll start being hatched any day now, that will go into the brooder just like these ones did. So once these guys come out and go to the grow out pen, we can put the newer hatchlings in this brooder once we've cleaned and sanitized it. But let's take a look at our cycle 1 chicks. And let's see if any of them. They might try to jump or fly out of here. They tend to do that when they see the top open. But as you can see, they have pretty much doubled in size, almost tripled some of them, and they are pretty much fully feathered. Let's take a closer look and see if I can get the camera down in here. Huh? Hey guys, don't be shy. Okay, you can see they're trying to fly and jump out of here. But they are doing quite well. And I have a couple that look like they could possibly be celadons. My two blondies, I call them. And I have one that's more of like a chocolate brown. This one here. Let me see if I can grab it real quick. Come here, baby. Now, I'm not sure, but this could possibly be what is known as a Tibetan or a Rosetta. She's a little bit more brown than the others, so I could be wrong. If you guys know, please comment below. She's got a like more of a chocolate coloration to her. I believe it's a her, but you'll know more in a few weeks when they start crowing or showing different signs of being male or female. But as you can see, they're quite docile when you raise them yourself, and they actually don't mind being held once they know that you're not harmful to them, because they know that all their food and shelter is coming from you. And I try to hold them on a daily basis so that they get used to being held. And so far, they are doing quite well with that. But they are about 1 week away from going to their grow out pen outside. We still have to put the final touches on that, which hopefully we'll be doing this week. And then they'll be ready to go. So I just wanted to give you guys an update. Now, these guys are for sale. Their price has gone up to $4 each for local pickup or delivery in the Maybank, Texas area. If you would like to purchase one of them, please give us a email or a text. I'll put the email on the bottom here. It'll be goldenoaksquailhatchery@gmail.com. And if you email us, we can provide you with a contact number if you're local, and you can either pick them up or we can deliver them to you for an additional transportation fee. So let's put this guy back. Let's take one more look at them before we continue the construction of our grow out pen. And our cycle 2 chicks should hopefully be hatching in the next few days as well. So looking forward to that. Let me see if I can grab one of my blondes here. I could be wrong. Oh. The blondes are the fastest. Yeah, this is one of my two blondes. It's possible they could be celadons, but when I'm not exactly sure, if they start laying blue eggs, then then I'll know. These ones are a little bit more finicky, but they are gorgeous birds. So yeah, we'll be back in just a moment. We'll continue with the construction of our grow out pen. And hopefully we can get that done this week so these guys can move out and we can get our brooder set up for our cycle 2 chicks. So stay tuned, guys. Exciting times at Golden Oaks Quail Hatchery. We'll see you back in a moment. So it is day 17 going into day 18 of our second incubation cycle. And I once again came home from work pleasantly surprised to see some of our second cycle hatchlings have hatched a little bit early, which we like. These guys are so cute. Once again, it's like I feel like a proud papa. So let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3. Looks like 4, 5 total. Yep. 5 hatchlings so far out of the eggs that we put into lockdown. So far things are looking up, and looks like we have a new batch of hatchlings that will be going into the brooder box once our first cycle hatchlings go out to the grow out pen, which we still have to finish. At this point, I'm thinking it might have been cheaper just to buy some quail cages than try and build them myself, because the price is certainly getting up there. But you know, the good thing about building it yourself is you can go at your own pace for the most part and only spend what you actually have. So when you're on a budget, you got to do what you got to do. But yeah, we've got 5 hatchlings so far, day 17 going into day 18. And we will leave these guys in here for at least 48 to 72 hours. We don't want to have the same thing that happened last time with our first cycle, where we had some shrink wrapped eggs. So I'm not going to open this early this time. They'll be okay in here for a few days while they dry off. And it looks like a couple of them are almost pretty dry. And hopefully this time we won't have any with splayed legs, you know, fingers crossed. I'm using the shower mat that I've cut out to hopefully give them more traction, as well as with the holes in there, it's ventilated so the air can circulate and they can still dry off. So I'm hoping that'll prevent any of the splayed legs like we had in our first cycle, and that all these chicks will get up upright. Doesn't look like they've been out of their eggs for too long, but so far it looks like they are all doing good. So we will check back in the morning to see if there are any more hatchlings here. We still have quite a few left to hatch, and we'll see how it goes. And we will check back on these guys in the AM, and they will be ready to go in the brooder in about 2 more days. So stay tuned. Get some rest, little ones. Good afternoon, guys. It's the afternoon on day 18 of our second incubation cycle. And it looks like we have 4 more chicks that have hatched, bringing our total to 9 hatchlings so far. And it appears they are all in good health right now so far, and none of them appear to have splayed legs or spraddle legs. Good morning, little guys. They all appear to be doing quite well. Most of them have dried off already, but we are not going to remove them from the incubator just yet. We are going to give them another 48 hours to see if any of the other eggs hatch, and then they will all be moved to the brooder. And the first cycle chicks are chomping at the bit to get out of there. So we are going to finish up their grow out pen over the next 48 hours, at least the lower tier where they'll be housed. And then these guys will be moved into their brooder once it is cleaned and sanitized. And they will be receiving their first meal and drink of electrolyte and vitamin infused water. We learned a lot of lessons from our Cycle 1 chick, and we're going to make sure these guys grow up big and strong, and hopefully there are no fatalities between now and the next 3 weeks, like we had in our first cycle for whatever reason. But these guys are doing quite well, and most of them are just resting up. They're eternally cute. And we're going to be giving them a nice new home as well. So stay tuned, guys. We have a lot in store over the next few days. And if you like to continue following this journey with us, please hit that subscribe button, that like button, comment down below, and please share this video with others so we can master the YouTube algorithm and grow this channel. We surely do appreciate it. We'll be right back. So we're back, guys, and it's been probably just a few seconds for you, but it's been well over a week for us here at Golden Oaks Quail Hatchery. And I have to admit, I am not ashamed to admit that this build nearly broke me. I can, without any shame, say that my ambition outweighed my knowledge and experience. But with that being said, I am actually pretty proud of myself and what I've accomplished in just getting this far. Now, as you can see, this build is far from finished. I was only able to basically complete the lower level of this planned 3-tier build, but that will be enough to house our remaining grow outs that are coming out of the brooder this weekend. It's fitting that this is the last day of July, because August 1st will be their graduation into this grow out pen. And then the newly hatched babies will be graduating to the brooder. And not a day too soon, because honestly, they're been in there for a little bit longer than I would have liked, but I was trying to give the last few remaining chicks a chance to hatch. But if they are not hatched by tomorrow morning, August 1st, 2026, then I'll have to consider that a loss, and we will move forward with the 12 or so chicks that we have. Now, all that really remains for me to say that this build is basically finished is for me to top this, the top with hardware cloth. I have spent way too much money on hardware cloth. Now, I was trying to reserve the PVC coated hardware cloth for the flooring of each level, but regular hardware cloth is just too expensive and for too little amount. So I'm going to use the remaining hardware cloth that I have purchased, PVC coated hardware cloth that I've purchased to top this and call it done. Now, as I explained in my build plans, my original idea was to have a sandbox on both ends of the cage, but it turns out that, like I said, my ambition exceeded my knowledge and experience, and I wasn't able to really do what I needed to do in order to really put that to an experience. Well, it was beyond me. So basically what I have here is I can probably add a sandbox later, but I just reinforced the bottom of this side with plywood in case I did want to add a sandbox later. For now, I think I'll just do a Rubbermaid tub full of play sand for the quail to basically sandbathe, and they'll have to make do with that. And the other end, it was supposed to be the same thing, but we're just gonna leave it as an open pen. And I also wanted to create some dividers here to divide this into 2 halves, but I wasn't able to fully incorporate that idea either, at least with this lower tier. Mainly, besides the knowledge and experience, not having it, the main thing I lacked was the proper tools. It would have really been helpful if I had a table saw and a miter saw, as well as possibly even a track saw or a jigsaw, any one of those saws from the beginning. It just so happened that my next door neighbor was able to lend me his table saw for like the last day. So that's how I was able to cut the plywood and these 2 pieces of the thinner blonde wood is what they're called, blonde wood pieces here. But like I said, it's an older table saw and what is really Not really what I needed, but I was grateful to have it to at least do that portion. But all in all, considering all things considered, like I said, I'm pretty proud of what I've accomplished with no not prior knowledge or experience. I was able to design basically and build this much of a grow out pen based on just YouTube videos from getting inspiration from Terry of Katernik's Corner and the Simply Redneck channel. And what we have here is the main door in the front here, what gives me access to pretty much the entire lower pen, just like that. And then we have two more doors here on the side that I can both sides that I can access the Quail from either end. So who knows, with a little bit more experience now under my belt, maybe finishing the last two tiers won't be so much of a challenge, but it's going to be something that's going to have to wait. Because like I said, this much nearly destroyed me, and I'm going to need at least a few weeks to recover physically as well as financially. But with all that being said, thank you guys for sticking with me and giving me words of encouragement. Now it is time for our 3 remaining Cycle 1 chicks. Yes, right, I said 3 remaining because we actually sold 12 of them yesterday. And I kept 3 of the exotic colors that were left for my own collection. So I only have 3 of my Cycle 1 hatchlings remaining. And it's too early to tell whether they're male, female, or combination of both. But hopefully in the next few weeks, we will find out. But they're going to get them moved in, finish this, the top of this grow out pen with some hardware cloth and get them moved in tonight so that tomorrow morning, our new Cycle 2 hatchlings can make their way to the brooder. So we'll be right back, guys. Stay tuned. Good day, everyone. Good morning. It is officially August 1st, 2026, and it is day 20 of our second cycle incubation, and it is time for our babies here to graduate from the incubator and move into the brooder. Good morning, little ones. How are y'all? Good morning. So it doesn't appear that any more have hatched. So we are going to say that this second incubation cycle is officially done here on day 20. But before we can move these babies to their new brooder, we have to first move our teenagers to the grow out pen. It's their graduation day as well. But before we do that, we have to do a little bit of housekeeping. Our remaining teenagers need a little bit of a spa day to clean them up a little bit, as well as get banded so that we can keep track of their progress and incorporate them into our breeding cycle. They will be marked with white leg bands as since they are part of their own cycle. And once these juveniles reach teenage years, they'll be marked with black leg bands so that we can keep these lines separate as well as prevent inbreeding. So these are our Cycle 2 chicks. It's time for them to go into the brooder. But first, let's deal with our Cycle 1s. Be right back. So here we have our main brooder, and let's open it up and take a look inside. And as you can see, we just have 3 remaining teenagers left to move. The rest have honestly been sold off. And I just decided to keep these 3 because of their unique colors from the Cycle 1 hatchlings. I kept my 2 blondes here. Come here, little guys. Let's take a closer look at you. My two blondes. Oh, come on. There you go. And I kept my chocolate brown one. That could be either a Tibetan or a Rosetta. Come here. Come here. It's okay. Yeah, she had a slightly different coloration than the other browns that we had. So I decided to keep her or him as well. I can't really tell just yet if they're male or female, but we should hopefully find out in a few weeks once they start when they start reaching maturity, sexual maturity. But as you can see, they have grown quite a bit. They're officially 3 weeks old now and quite hardy little birds. So before they get moved to their new grow out pen, we have to do a little bit of a spa day. We have to make sure we wash the dry poop from their feet from being in this brooder the whole time, as well as they are getting white lay bands as our cycle 1 chicks to keep them differentiated from our cycle 2 chicks that are going to be moving into this brooder once these guys move out and we have cleaned and sanitized it. We want our new chicks to have a great and healthy start. And we got to make sure we remove all the any germs or bacteria that may have been left by these guys in the brooder. And so that is the plan for today. Today is August 1st, 2026, and it is time to get these guys moved. So let's get them cleaned up and banded, and we shall move them to their newly completed grout pen. All right, so we got our birds' feet all cleaned up and got them all banded with little white zip ties here. I got these little tiny zip ties from Amazon in assorted colors. And as you can see, they've all been given the white band. Link in the description if you would like to get some of these little zip ties as well. I find that they're a lot easier to use on smaller birds than like the leg bands that you can find on there. And they're a little bit easier to put on as well as stay on. So now that these guys have cleaned up and are ready, we shall move them out into the brooder while it is still cool outside and get them started to transition to this Texas heat. So let's do that right now. So here our three teenagers are in their newly acquired grow out pen. And as you can see, they have lots of room to grow out compared to their space relative to their size currently. And we can fit a lot more quail in here. But for right now, these are the three teenagers that we have. And this is their first time being on wire. So far, they are taking to it quite easily. They are currently now in what will hopefully be their future sand bath area. And once we're going to get a small Rubbermaid tote for them full of play sand to use. And that will be their sand bath area. Other than that, we're going to leave them to get acclimated. We're going to give them some food and some cool water to drink. It's still early in the morning, so the heat has not been brought on yet. But I'm trying to get these guys out as early as possible so they can start acclimating to the outside temperatures and the heat. And they are in good company with their parents here, who will also be moving out of these temporary dog kennel cages to our newly constructed grow out pen and breeder boxes once we have the other 2 layers completed. But we had to get this layer done for these 3 so that we can get our new chicks into the brooder. So now that we've done that, let us get the brooder cleaned and sanitized and reset, and let's get our new hatchlings moved in. Stay tuned. Now that our brooder box has been cleaned, sanitized, and reset, we can incorporate our new hatchlings to it. And once again, I am using the blue shop towels just for a bit of extra traction, but it does not appear that this cycle of hatchlings has developed any splayed legs, which we are really happy about. And once again, in addition to the heat plate, we have added a sealing heat pad here underneath, because as we said in our previous video, the heating plate that I acquired from Tractor Supply does not produce enough heat, in my opinion, on its own, but we had great success using it in conjunction with this sealing heat mat, so we are going to use that again. So now let us get our chicks ready to be moved. It's time for them to graduate from the incubator to the brooder. So here we are with our cycle 2 hatchlings, and they are chomping at the bit to get out of this incubator. Now we have learned a lesson from our first cycle chicks, and what we're going to do this time around is we're going to stick this entire incubator in a box, because straight out of the gate, these guys are extremely quick on their feet, and we had quite a few wanted to run clear off the table last time we did this. So we're going to put this entire incubator in a box, and before we open it, that way we can contain the excitement of these little birds and get them all safely transported to the brooder. Then we're going to count our remaining eggs and do a final tally of our fertility rate versus our hatch rate, so we can get a percentage, see exactly how many hatchlings we had successfully from our cycle 2 cycle. So let's get this started. Let's get these guys out of here. I can already see there's at least one unique coloration. So let's get them fed, watered, and into the brooder. So we're back and ready to get this party started. As you can see, I found a box large enough for this entire incubator. So let's get this cover popped and these chicks out. And you can see for yourself just how fast these little guys are on their feet right out of the shell. All right, welcome to the world, Cycle 2s. As you can see, immediately they dart off. But we've got them safely contained this time around. So should be no injuries. Let's take a closer look here. And we've got quite a few that have hatched. I think I counted 12 when we last took a look at these guys, but we're going to get a second look just in just a few moments. Let me get these little babies off this platform, and we will take the Govee out and remove our base. And it appears that this using this bathroom mat, shower mat, really helped, because it doesn't look like we have any babies with splayed legs this time. So looks like we got our base cleared. And oh, see, we got one that decided to jump back on this. See, they got hops and speed right out the gate. You guys stay in there for just a moment while I set this down. All right. So as you guys can see, they so far look to be very happy and healthy. So let's get these guys into the brooder. We'll get a count of the ones that we have here, and we'll see how many eggs we had remaining that did not hatch from our developed. Okay, let's get these little ones transferred in. I'm going to count them as well as dip their beaks immediately in the waterer so that they can know immediately where the water is. And right out the gate, we are using a probiotic as well as vitamin supplement in their water, which is why it looks like it has that greenish tint. So that we are going to give these guys the healthiest start possible. And hopefully this time around, we won't have any fatalities out of our new hatchlings. So let's get them counted and moved. So here we have the first one. Dip your beak. Come here, baby. Oh, it's so tiny. There's one. Two. Three. Four. Here's number 5. Number 6. Number 7. Number 8. Number 9. Number 10. Number 11. Don't fight. Don't fight. And lastly, number 12. Before I put this one in, this one has a very nice looking color pattern. So it's unique out of the rest of them. Oh, don't go, don't jump. She's got even like blonde eyelashes. So let's get her watered and let's get these little guys fed. And that's number 12. And as you can see, they have immediately started drinking. That's why you dip their beaks right away so that they know where the water is. Now let's get some food in these guys as well. Now we are starting them off immediately on a 30% Purina Game Bird starter. I did blend it up just a little bit, just some of it, in order to make sure it's not too big for their little beaks and that they can actually get some food in them. We're gonna put it a little distance away from the water, so hopefully it can stay dry as long as possible. Bear with me. We zoom out a bit here. All right, and once again, we're gonna put a little bit down here in front of the plate so that they can find it very easily, and put the rest inside. And let's watch them for a few minutes and see how they get along. It looks like they are really getting some hydration at the moment. And once again, we are using a Google Nest Cam, which is a fitting name to monitor their progress while we're away from home. But I don't foresee anything in the immediate future causing a problem for these little guys. But they are at their most fragile in their first few weeks of life. So We got to make sure that we give them the best start possible. So we had 12 successfully hatched, and they are already establishing their pecking order, it looks like. No pun intended. So hopefully they'll start finding the food once they've quenched their thirst. They have been in the incubator for 72 plus hours, drying off, and this is their first drink ever. So once they are fully hydrated, they will no doubt start looking around and finding their food. Now, I have put their water on a saucer this time for a little bit more of a stable base, because I found that the uneven bottom of this bin caused the water to leak out the last time. So I gave them put a saucer under the waterer to give a more stable base. And as you can see, we are using the chick waterer versus the standard waterer because we did have success and none of our chicks died by drowning last time. So we're going to continue that trend. All right, so let's count up our remaining eggs that have not hatched and get a final percentage on our hatch rate for these cycle 2 chicks. So it looks like we had a 12 out of our total 16 developed eggs hatch. So that gives us a hatch rate of 75% with this batch of hatchlings. These 4 here did not hatch and actually showed absolutely no signs of pipping whatsoever. So we didn't have to worry about shrink wrapping this time around, looks like, because none of these eggs actually even pipped. So that's pretty good. I can be happy with that. And once again, this shower mat helped a great deal with providing our hatchlings with traction. None of them appeared to have splayed legs, so we will definitely be using this again going forward. We're going to wash and sanitize this as well, because tomorrow we are starting our cycle 3 hatchings with these eggs that have been waiting here in the wings for the last couple of days, waiting to go in the incubator. So far we have 2 dozen plus 1 extra. We'll probably get a few more eggs from the parents tonight so that tomorrow we can stick all of them in the incubator and start this process once again. Now, the sale of the cycle 1 hatchlings that I did, the ones that were moved, that we just sold, the 12 out of our cycle 1 hatchlings, did set our production schedule back a little bit, but that's okay, because like I said, I initially got interested in breeding quail for my own meat and egg consumption. But it turns out that there is a market here in the Maybank, Texas area, and people have also been interested in collecting their own quail for whatever reason. So we have also made some sales, which we are pleasantly surprised by. We still have not yet recouped our full cost of this investment, but that is just a bonus. Like I said, I primarily am growing these guys out for my own meat and egg production. So that will be all for this time around. I thank you guys for joining us. Once again, I want to give a special shout out and send my gratitude to Jim McGraw of Madison's Quail Farm for partnering with me in this endeavor, for swapping hatching eggs with me as to prevent any interbreeding and keep our genetic line pure and sustainable. And I hope that we will be doing this again very soon and in the future, continuing our very successful collaboration. And if you guys are in the Maybank area and would like to purchase any of our newest hatchlings, they can please comment below or send us an email to goldenoaksquailhatchery@gmail.com. Please remember to hit that like button, subscribe for our future videos, and share this with others. Let's get that YouTube algorithm popping. Once again, guys, this is Big Terry with Golden Oaks Quail Hatchery. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and we'll see you in the future. Signing off.